When the war against the thinking machines finally ended, humanity stood on the edge of a new age. The victory was absolute, but the cost was immeasurable. Entire worlds were burned, countless lives lost, and in the silence that followed, people had to ask what came next. Without machines to guide or control them, they turned inward. Power moved from circuits to bloodlines, from code to faith, and from logic to instinct. The new Imperium rose not from invention, but from ambition. Welcome to Echoes of Dune, a place where the forgotten stories of the desert are retold, and the echoes of power, faith, and destiny are heard once more. In this new order, great houses began to form, each claiming planets and power. The Spacing Guild controlled travel among the stars, using the spice melange to fold space and connect the farthest reaches of the galaxy. The Bene Gesserit built their influence through discipline, genetics, and manipulation, working behind the scenes to shape the fate of humanity. Peace existed, but it was fragile, a balance of fear, greed, and old wounds. At the center of it all was Arrakis, the most dangerous and valuable planet in existence. Beneath its endless deserts lay the spice, the source of wealth, longevity, and prescience. It powered travel, prolonged life, and granted visions of the future. Whoever controlled Arrakis controlled the galaxy. It was a truth so simple and so dangerous that entire civilizations built themselves around it. Among the noble houses, one began to rise above the others, House Atreides of Caladan. They were known for honor, compassion, and strategic brilliance. Under Duke Leto Atreides, their reputation grew quickly, but so did the jealousy of their rivals. Their old feud with House Harkonnen, born from betrayal and cruelty, still smoldered. The Emperor himself began to see House Atreides as a threat, a rival too noble and too popular for comfort. The Emperor made his move. He took Arrakis from the Harkonnens and granted it to the Atreides. On the surface, it looked like a reward, a sign of trust. In truth, it was a trap. Leto knew this, but his sense of duty and belief in honor drove him to accept. He believed he could rule Arrakis differently, that he could bring fairness to a world ruled by greed and fear. When the Atreides arrived, they found a planet like no other, a harsh, endless desert with storms that could swallow cities and sandworms that ruled the dunes like gods. The native Fremen had learned to survive in the heat and scarcity, adapting to the desert in ways outsiders could not understand. Duke Leto respected them. He saw in them a strength that others ignored, a strength born from endurance and faith. But Arrakis was a place of deception. The Harkonnens, with the Emperor's secret backing, struck without mercy. Their armies, aided by the deadly Sardaukar, invaded Arrakeen and destroyed the Atreides in one night of fire and betrayal. Duke Leto was killed, his house shattered. Only his son Paul and the Lady Jessica escaped into the desert. In the endless dunes, Paul Atreides began to change. The spice filled his body and mind, awakening visions of a future shaped by violence and faith. Among the freemen, he learned their ways, how to move silently through sand, how to fight, and how to believe. The desert stripped away everything that was weak and left only what could endure. In time, Paul became more than a fugitive. He became a symbol. The freemen named him Muad'Dib, the prophet, who would bring change to the universe. He led them to victory, overthrowing the Emperor and claiming the throne of the Imperium. The desert planet became the center of everything once more. But Paul's triumph came with a price. His rise sparked a holy war that consumed thousands of worlds. The same passion that gave him power also unleashed chaos. His empire stood on the bones of his followers, and though he could see the future, he could not escape it. Years later, his son, Leto II, inherited both the empire and the burden of prophecy. He understood that power, no matter how noble, always decays. To protect humanity from repeating its mistakes, he made the ultimate sacrifice. Leto merged with the sandworms, transforming into something beyond human, a being that would rule for thousands of years as the God Emperor of Dune. His reign was both peace and tyranny, ensuring humanity's survival through control and fear. But even gods fall. After millennia, rebellion rose again. The Empire fractured, humanity scattered across the stars, and Arrakis changed once more. The worms returned, the spice became scarce, and history reset its cycle of rise and fall. Humanity had defeated the machines long ago, but it could never escape itself. This is the story of transformation, of how humanity turned from creators into conquerors and from monarchs into myths. Every rise carries its fall, every victory carries its cost, and the desert remembers it all. Next time, we follow the echoes beyond the Imperium to the scattering of humanity across uncharted worlds, where survival takes on new meaning and the legacy of the desert continues among the stars. Until then, listen to the wind. It carries the next echo of Dune.